Hi, everyone. Dr. Liz here. Welcome to the Hypnotize Me podcast. I'm glad you're here, glad you're listening and learning, and hopefully it will help you with your journey along the way. I am a psychotherapist with a specialty in anxiety, insomnia, and deeper emotional healing. Hypnosis is one of the tools in my toolbox that I use to help people feel better and to help people be better. I do work all over the world. Please feel free to reach out and contact me if you would like some help. I've been an entrepreneur for most of my adult life, built an award-winning company, sold it, and then focused mainly on my private practice. That gives you a unique perspective, especially my ability to work with people in business at all kinds of levels. Before I go, if you'd like to support the podcast, you can go and subscribe to the newsletter. And you'll get free hypnosis downloads that you can listen to immediately. Another way is to buy one of the downloads that I have for sale. I only have a couple up there, but they're good ones. They've stood the test of time. Or if you'd like to join my Patreon, that's an additional way to support the podcast. I made the decision to not run ads during my podcast because I really do see it as an act of service. I completely respect people who do have ads on their podcast, but it's just not my path. But a great way to show your own support for it is to join the Patreon. So if you're interested, pop on over there and check it out. All right, everyone, enjoy the episode, and I hope to see you back here soon. Hey everyone, Dr. Liz here. I hope that you're having a wonderful day. I certainly am. I thought I would do an episode about how do you know this is working? This is often a question I get regarding hypnosis. How do I know it's working? And I would say that we use all kinds of measures to see if it's working. If you're coming in for a particular problem, we are tracking what that problem is. I mean, obviously, if you come in to stop smoking or vaping, I do a lot of that work, then you stop smoking and vaping. That's how you know it's working. That may take a couple of sessions, but you stop doing it. You stop doing the behavior. Let's say you're coming in to lose weight. You're actually losing weight. That's how we know it's working. For insomnia, we're tracking your sleep. I want you to do that temporarily while you're in treatment. We don't want people tracking their sleep forever, but we're tracking your sleep. We're seeing, are you waking up less? Are you falling asleep easier? Are you staying asleep longer? So we're tracking that stuff. Now, when it's something that feels more emotional, like you're coming in to heal trauma or a deeper belief, when I'm doing the work, we're actually measuring how you feel about that trauma. I actually have you rate it, or those beliefs that are going on. We're writing that out at the beginning. I do an assessment process, and then you're rating them as we go along. And when something feels done to you, it's a felt sense of done. So we're rating that. I usually have people rate it 0 to 5. This feels complete. And people absolutely come up with a rating. No, that needs more work. Yes, that feels complete. It's at a 3. It needs a little bit more work. It's at a 5. It's done. It feels done. Like, I don't even know why I wrote that statement. It's that kind of done. Let me give you an example of that. These are some of my own why questions that I wrote before I had the process called core healing, which is a hypnosis process. Why do I feel so hopeless? Why do I feel so helpless a lot of the time? Why do I worry about money so much and never feel like I have enough? Why do I have low energy? So these were back in 2018. We're in 2024 right now. I mean, I had written like 20 of them or something. That's just a sample of those. But what my hypnotherapist did is she had me rate those as we went. So when I did the technique, I did a weekend of sessions that started on a Friday afternoon and lasted until Sunday about, 1 or 2 or so. And then I drove home because I lived about 4 or 5 hours from her. Maybe 3.5, 4. I don't know. Takes me a long time to drive places, like longer than most people. I don't know why. So I drove up for the weekend, and then we did another weekend 2 or 3 weeks later. And when I went back, she had me rate the change. I do the same thing in my practice. After we do that core healing session where we're looking at the beliefs and we're healing the beliefs, we're seeing where did they come from and healing them. Then the person goes away for a week to 10 days, sometimes 2 weeks, depending on our schedules. And then when they come back, we rate them. We say, oh, great. How does this feel to you? And let's say, why do I have such low energy? And the person will say, that feels complete. 5. I don't feel like I have low energy anymore. Like I'm ready to go. And I get out of bed in the morning. Or they'll say, it's like a 3 or 4. I think it still needs a little bit more work. For me, it was a chronic problem, which is why it was on my list of things to ask. And it was related to my thyroid. But sometimes low energy is an emotional process going on. Sometimes it's when someone's trying to process a big transition. That happens too. And honestly, I was processing a big transition. I went to see her after once again dating a psychopath. And I thought, I never want to do this again, ever. This needs to be done. I need to heal some beliefs around this and about who I am and what I deserve in life. And it did it. The technique did it, the core healing technique. And I can attest that my current husband is not a psychopath. Okay. Not even close. He's so kind and generous, and he's a good person and has good values and is honest and treats me well. He has his faults too, but they do not fall in the psychopath realm. They're more like, hey, you're slacking on the dishes kind of faults. So after the second weekend, we did more work on the things that needed attention. And then after that, I think I checked in with her by phone after that, actually. This is before people really started using Zoom. So we checked in by phone after that, but I felt like I was complete for the vast majority of my questions. So that's one way to do it. You rate it. So it depends what we're doing with some of the more spiritual techniques like past life regression, BQH, which is beyond quantum healing, which we're going into the future and asking spiritual guides for guidance or advice or answers to questions. Then it gets a little more fuzzy. I mean, if you got an answer to a question, that's not fuzzy. That's clear. Did hypnosis work for you? Yes, it did. Now, what you choose to do with that answer is a whole different thing. But did it work for you? Yes. But often it is a felt sense in the body of freedom, energy, lifting out of depression, feeling happier, more energetic, feeling healed, able to move forward in your life. I remember working with someone where she said she didn't tell anybody she was doing this, because she worked in the medical profession, and sometimes it seems a little bit woo-woo to medical professionals. And she said she kept getting comments from coworkers like, something's different about you. You seem much calmer. You're not like flying off the handle anymore. Like, what did you do? And so she knew that it had, quote unquote, worked for her or was working for her. So sometimes it's something like that, or people are noticing a difference around you, even though you haven't told them anything about what you're doing. Now, I will say there is sometimes an effect where hypnosis works down the road, or you have to give it time to work. So you don't immediately know. So here's an example for you. I was like leaking. I'm a woman, 54. I was leaking urine sometimes. And this is disturbing to most women. It's not something we enjoy. It's embarrassing, but it seemed like it was getting worse for me. And there was one night where if I had had a jacket, I would have tied it around my waist, but I didn't have a jacket, and apparently it didn't show anyway. But I thought, oh my God, like I've got to go home now. I was out at dinner with my husband, and it was just so embarrassing. And I thought, why didn't I put a pad on or something like that? Although apparently you're not supposed to do that because it programs your mind to release even more like crazy. But anyway, I had met this hypnotherapist. a couple of years back at a hypnosis conference, and she had said that she saw someone for this exact problem. Hers was way worse than mine, and that it cured it for her. I always remembered that. I kept her name. And so when this happened, I scheduled a sessions with her, and we did, I think, 2 or 3 sessions. Not a whole lot of sessions on it, but we did 2 or 3 sessions. We came up with a statement for me as well of I am dry and comfortable and fully in control. So we did a couple of sessions, and the result wasn't immediate. I saw a reduction, but it wasn't completely gone. But this was only like 2 or 3 weeks. So I knew I needed to give it some time and either keep listening to the hypnosis file or keep saying my statement. Just give it some time. So I knew that because I do hypnosis. So that's what I did. And it got less and less over time. And then I just sort of forgot about it, honestly. I didn't keep reading the statement obsessively or anything like that. I just sort of forgot about it. And then about 5 or 6 months later, I realized I had not leaked. I cannot remember the last time I leaked urine. Like, it was gone. I am dry and comfortable, even when I'm sneezing. Okay, that's when it would happen mostly for me, is during sneezes. So I was like, this worked. Hypnosis worked. It worked over the long term for me. So that's an example of something that may not work immediately, but you see the effects later. And for me, I trust that that's going to happen. I understand that sometimes people have problems trusting that it's going to happen. Or sometimes they want to keep going with the hypnosis process or therapy process, wanting immediate results for something that may take a while. And often I'll recommend that they give it a couple of weeks. Like, give it a couple of weeks and check in with me. And if you need another session, we'll schedule one. Sometimes we'll go ahead and schedule if they want support in between, or they want to try different techniques. Hypnosis can be extremely relaxing, nice, wonderful, floaty. So they like that, and they like giving that time and attention for themselves. So they want to schedule sessions to not just feel good, but to talk some things through, gather some additional strategies. Sometimes I'm a place to talk about things that they can't talk about anywhere else in their life. They don't have supportive friends or family to talk about something that they want to talk about. So that's part of it too. It's part of being a therapist, really. If you're doing hypnosis on your own at home, start your own tracking. There's all kinds of trackers you can use that are free or low cost. I mean, you can always track on paper, but my favorite one is called Habit, Habit, and it's this little pink app that has a white circle with a check mark in it. And I think it was like $2.99 or something forever, like as a one-time cost. That's my favorite habit tracker because you can customize it a lot. So track it on your own if you're doing it at home to see, is this getting better? Is this working? Is hypnosis helping? All right, everyone. I hope you are healthy and safe. Peace. I hope you truly enjoyed today's episode. Remember that you can get free hypnosis downloads over at my website, drlizhypnosis.com, DRLIZ hypnosis.com. I work all over the world doing hypnosis. So if you're interested in working with me, please schedule a free consultation over at my website, and we'll see what your goals are and if I can be of service to you in helping you reach them. Finally, if you liked today's episode, please subscribe to the podcast or tell a friend. That way, more and more people learn about the power of hypnosis. All right, everyone, have a wonderful week. Peace. This podcast is not mental health treatment, nor should it replace mental health treatment. If If you need therapy or hypnotherapy, please seek treatment from a trained professional